The colony was quiet that night. The human settlement lay at the edge of the alien forest, where the trees were tall and the shadows deep. Most people were asleep. Only one man stayed awake, walking slowly outside the walls. His name was Daniel. He often walked at night because he felt lonely. The stars above were his only friends. But that night he was not alone. From the trees came a soft sound like the rustle of silk. Daniel stopped, his heart beating faster. He had heard stories. Aliens lived beyond the forest and humans were told to stay away. But his eyes caught something moving between the branches. A figure stepped out, glowing faintly under the moonlight. It was a girl. An alien girl. Her skin shimmered with pale blue light and her eyes were large and silver like pools of liquid metal. She looked young, almost fragile, but her presence was powerful. She was not supposed to be here. Humans and her kind were forbidden to meet. Daniel froze. His first thought was to run back to the settlement. But the girl raised her hand slowly, not in threat but in peace. "Do not fear me," she whispered. Her voice was soft, musical, almost like a song. Daniel's fear melted into curiosity. He had seen aliens only from far away, during tense meetings or silent marches. Never this close, never this gentle. "Why are you here?" he asked, keeping his voice low. She looked at the ground, then at the stars. "I was told to stay away, but I wanted to see you." Daniel's chest tightened. No alien had ever spoken to him like this. No human had ever been chosen by them for anything. For a long time they stood in silence. The night was quiet except for the sound of wind through the leaves. Then Daniel took a step closer. She did not move away. Another step, and another until he could see the glow of her skin clearly. Her name, she told him, was Selira. She was from the high tribes of the mountains. She said she had watched the humans from far away, wondering what made them so stubborn, so strong. Even when they were weak in body, Daniel listened, surprised at her honesty. "You should not be here," Daniel said. "If someone sees you, they will punish me," Selira finished softly. "But still I came." Her words carried both fear and courage. She was risking everything just to stand near him. Daniel's heart pounded. He had lived his whole life being told aliens were dangerous, untrustworthy, different. Yet here she was, alone, unarmed, speaking to him like a friend. They walked together along the edge of the forest. She asked about the human world, what it felt like to build homes, to plant crops, to dream of tomorrow. He asked about her world, the tribes, the glowing rivers, the hidden songs of her people. For the first time, two lives from different worlds touched like this. As the stars moved across the sky, Selira grew quiet. She looked at him with eyes that seemed to hold something heavy, something unsaid. "Daniel," she whispered, "have you ever wondered why the stars are so far away? Why hearts feel closer when they should not?" He did not know what to say. His throat was dry, but his heart was louder than his fear. In that moment, Daniel reached out. His hand touched her cheek. Her skin was warm and smooth, glowing softly under his fingers. Selira's eyes widened, but she did not pull away. Time seemed to stop. The world was silent. The stars above seemed to lean closer. Then, without thinking, Daniel bent forward and kissed her. It was not long. Just a breath. But it was real. The kiss broke the silence of centuries. It was something that had never been done, something both forbidden and impossible. His lips touched hers, and for a moment it felt like the universe itself had shifted. When Daniel pulled back, Selira's eyes were wide, shining like silver fire. She touched her lips as if they burned. "You should not have done that," she whispered, though her voice trembled. Before he could answer, the ground beneath them shivered, as if the earth itself had felt their kiss. A low hum came from the forest, deep and strange, almost alive. Selira's face grew pale. "They will know," she said. Fear flashed across her face. "They will know what you did." Then, without another word, she turned and ran into the trees. Her glowing figure disappeared into the shadows. Daniel stood frozen, his lips still tingling, his heart racing. He had kissed an alien girl, a forbidden kiss that might change everything. But he did not know yet what price he would have to pay. The sun rose slowly over the colony. The first light touched the roofs of the human settlement and spilled across the empty fields. Daniel had not slept. He lay awake all night, staring at the ceiling of his small wooden house, his mind full of questions. Had it really happened? Had he truly kissed an alien girl? Or was it only a dream born from loneliness? His lips still tingled as if to answer him. Daniel stepped outside, hoping fresh air would clear his thoughts. But something felt different in the air. The birds were silent. The wind seemed heavy, carrying whispers he could not understand. People in the settlement were also uneasy. Neighbors spoke in low voices. Women glanced nervously at the forest. Even the children, usually loud in the morning, stayed close to their parents. Whispers followed Daniel as he walked to the well. "Did you hear?" someone said. "They saw her," another voice murmured. "An alien girl, running through the forest before sunrise." Daniel's heart skipped a beat. They had seen Celira. He lowered his eyes, pretending not to listen. But inside, his thoughts burned. If the colony already knew she had been near, how long before her people found out? He returned to his home quickly, locking the door. But as soon as he sat down, a sound reached him. Soft, fragile. A knock at the window. Daniel froze. Slowly, he turned. There she was. Celira. Her silver eyes stared through the glass, filled with fear and urgency. She motioned for him to open. Daniel rushed to the window and pulled it open just enough for her to slip inside. She looked exhausted. Her skin's glow dimmed, her breath sharp and quick. But she carried something in her arms, something wrapped in cloth that shimmered faintly like starlight. Daniel's eyes widened. "What is that?" he whispered. Celira's arms trembled as she held the bundle closer. "This is yours now," she said. Daniel blinked, confused. Then she pulled the cloth back. Inside was a child. A newborn. Its small hands waved weakly in the air. Its skin glowed faint blue like hers, but its eyes were human, warm brown like Daniel's own. Daniel stumbled backward. What is this? How?" Celira's voice shook as she answered. "Our kind does not create life like yours. We do not wait for months. When true emotion touches us, when it awakens, life is born at once." Daniel's mouth went dry. The memory of the kiss returned, sharp and burning. He looked at the child again, the tiny chest rising and falling with soft breaths. This cannot be mine," he said, though his voice was weak. But the baby's eyes locked onto him, and in that gaze, Daniel felt something break inside. It was his. Somehow, impossibly, it was his. Celira looked at him with desperate eyes. "You must protect him. If my people find out, they will take him away. They will destroy him." "Destroy?" Daniel's voice rose in anger. "He's just a child." "He is more than that," Celira whispered, clutching the baby closer. "He is proof. Proof that two worlds can join. Proof that our laws can be broken. They will see him as danger, not as life." The room seemed to close in around Daniel. His breath grew heavy. He had only wanted a moment of connection, a simple kiss in the night. Now in his home lay something that could ignite war. A sudden sound outside made him jump. A deep rhythmic thumping echoed from the forest like drums. The ground shook faintly with each beat. Daniel's heart pounded. Celira's face turned pale. "They are already searching," she said. "The warriors of my tribe. They felt the shift when we kissed. They know something changed." Daniel looked from her to the baby. The child's eyes blinked slowly, innocent and unaware of the danger closing in. "What do we do?" Daniel asked. Celira swallowed hard. "We hide him, for now, until we know if the prophecy is real." "Prophecy," Daniel repeated. But before she could answer, the drums grew louder. The windows rattled. Shouts echoed faintly in the distance. Alien voices, angry and sharp. Celira pressed the baby into Daniel's arms. His hand shook as he held the fragile bundle. "Protect him," she whispered, her silver eyes burning with both fear and hope. "Whatever happens, do not let them take him." Then she turned and moved back toward the window, ready to flee again into the forest. Daniel stood in his small house, the newborn child glowing faintly against his chest. While outside, the world seemed ready to break apart. The strange morning had brought him more than whispers. It had brought him a secret that could destroy everything or save it. Daniel's arms shook as he held the child. The baby's warmth spread through his chest, but so did fear. Never in his life had he felt so heavy with responsibility. The tiny creature looked up at him with soft human eyes, yet its glowing skin whispered of another world. Celira stood at the window, her body tense, listening to the distant drums. "They are searching closer," she said. "We do not have much time." Daniel swallowed hard. "Why bring him to me? Why not hide him yourself?" Her eyes flicked toward him, silver burning with both sorrow and trust. Because you are human. My people will not search your home first, and she hesitated, because he is yours as much as mine. The word struck Daniel like lightning. His. This tiny, impossible child was his. The thought made him dizzy. Only yesterday, his life had been dull and ordinary. Now he stood in his cabin holding a miracle that could destroy 2 civilizations. The baby made a small sound, almost like a laugh. The glow around its skin brightened for a moment, filling the room with soft blue light. Salira's eyes widened. It has already begun, she whispered. Daniel frowned. What do you mean? She stepped closer, lowering her voice. There is an old story among my people. A prophecy. It speaks of a child born from 2 worlds, carrying the strength of one and the spirit of the other. A child who will break the wall between races. Daniel looked down at the baby in disbelief. You think this child is that prophecy? Salira's lips trembled. I know it. Before Daniel could respond, a heavy sound shook the walls of his home. A horn blast. Then voices outside, alien warriors calling in their strange tongue. Salira grabbed his arm. We must hide him now. Daniel's heart pounded. He rushed to a trapdoor in the floor, a small storage pit where he kept tools and food. He carefully lowered the baby into a basket, covering it with cloth but leaving enough space for air. The baby's faint glow made the shadows dance on the walls. Quiet, little one, Daniel whispered, his voice breaking. Salira crouched beside him. Her silver eyes softened as she looked at the baby one last time. Then she placed her glowing hand on the cloth. The light dimmed, hiding the child's glow completely. They will not see him now, she said, but we cannot stay here long. The door rattled. Heavy fists pounded against it. Daniel's heart jumped to his throat. Salira's hand gripped his tightly. Stay calm. Speak only if they speak first. Daniel nodded, though his whole body trembled. The door crashed open and 3 alien warriors stormed in. They were taller than Daniel, their bodies wrapped in silver armor that pulsed with strange light. Their eyes glowed with suspicion. One of them barked a question in a language Daniel barely understood. Salira stepped forward quickly, bowing her head. She spoke in their tongue, her voice firm but respectful. The leader narrowed his eyes at her. His gaze moved around the small cabin, resting briefly on Daniel, then on the floor. Daniel fought the urge to look at the trapdoor. Sweat ran down his back. The warrior stepped closer, sniffing the air. Daniel felt his stomach twist. Could they smell the child? Could they feel its presence? Salira raised her chin. There is nothing here, she said firmly. I came only to warn them that the forest is unsafe tonight. You should continue your search deeper. For a long, terrible moment, silence filled the room. The leader's hand rested on the hilt of his glowing blade. Daniel's heart pounded so loudly he was sure they could hear it. Then at last the leader turned away. He barked another order and the warriors left, slamming the door behind them. Their footsteps faded into the distance. Daniel let out the breath he had been holding. His knees nearly gave out. He pulled open the trapdoor quickly. The baby lay inside, safe, still glowing faintly under the cloth. Relief washed over him like a flood, but Salira did not smile. Her face was pale, her eyes hard. They will not give up, she said. They know something has changed. They felt the earth shift. They will search every home, every shadow. Soon they will return. Daniel lifted the baby into his arms, holding it close. Then where do we go? Salira's voice dropped to a whisper. There is only one place safe enough. The human shelter at the edge of the valley. Old, broken, but hidden. If we can reach it before nightfall, we may have a chance. Daniel looked at the baby, then at her. And if we don't? Salira's eyes darkened. Then they will find him. And prophecy or not, they will end him. Outside, the drums began again, louder than before. The hunt was far from over. The drums never stopped. They echoed through the valley, steady and relentless like the heartbeat of the earth itself. Each beat reminded Daniel of the danger closing in. He held the baby tight against his chest as Salira pulled him toward the forest path. Keep moving, she whispered. They are spreading their nets. If they surround us, we will not escape. Daniel stumbled over roots and stones, his lungs burning. The child stirred in his arms but did not cry. That silence frightened him even more, almost as if the baby knew it had to stay quiet. Above them, strange birds shrieked and fled deeper into the night sky. Every sound made Daniel's heart pound faster. Behind them, faint lights flickered between the trees, silver torches carried by alien warriors. They are close, he said, panic rising. Salira's glowing hand touched his arm. Trust me. I know paths they do not, but even she looked afraid. Her kind did not forgive betrayal. And what she carried, what they carried, was more than betrayal. It was proof of forbidden union. The path twisted down into the valley. Daniel's legs ached, his breath short. He wanted to stop just for a moment, but Salira urged him on. Do not stop. If they see us, they will run faster than you can imagine. At last, they reached a broken structure half hidden by vines. Its metal walls were rusted, its roof caved in. It was one of the old shelters from the first colonists, abandoned years ago, forgotten by both humans and aliens. This is it, Salira whispered. Inside, Daniel ducked through the broken doorway. The air smelled of rust and damp stone. He set the baby down gently on a folded blanket Salira had carried. The child stirred, glowing faintly, then yawned. Daniel wiped sweat from his brow. For now we're safe, Salira shook her head. No place is safe for long. They will sense him. The blood of prophecy cannot be hidden forever. Daniel looked at her sharply. This prophecy, you keep speaking of it. What exactly does it say? Her silver eyes dimmed. That a child born of two worlds will either bring peace or bring fire. My people believe fire is more likely. They will not allow him to live long enough to prove otherwise. Daniel's stomach twisted. He looked at the baby again. Its tiny hands curled as it slept. How could anyone see danger in something so innocent? The sound of drums grew louder again. Daniel stiffened. They're here. Salira rushed to the doorway. Through the cracks in the vines, she saw figures moving in the darkness, armored, glowing, swift. They were spreading out, closing the circle. Daniel's chest tightened. We can't run now. They'll see us. No, Salira agreed. We must hide and wait. They crouched inside the shelter, the baby between them. The air grew thick with tension. Outside, voices called in the alien tongue, sharp and commanding. Daniel could not understand the words, but their tone made his blood run cold. The warriors were searching. One torchlight passed close to the shelter. Daniel held his breath. Salira reached across the baby and gripped his hand. For the first time, Daniel felt her hand shake. Minutes passed like hours. The footsteps moved away, then returned, then paused. Silence. Then a sound. A cry. The baby stirred and let out a soft, innocent wail. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. He clamped his hand gently over the baby's lips, desperate to quiet it. Salira's eyes went wide with terror. Outside, the footsteps turned back. Torches swung around. Voices rose in excitement. They heard him, Daniel whispered. The vines at the doorway shook. A blade cut through, slicing them away. Light flooded the shelter. Salira rose quickly, standing tall before the entrance, blocking the baby from view. Her silver skin glowed brighter, her voice rising in defiance. She shouted something in her people's language. The warriors paused, startled at her boldness. But then their leader stepped forward. Taller than the rest, his armor shone with silver fire. His eyes burned as he looked at Salira. Princess, he said, his voice like thunder. Daniel's chest went cold. Princess? Salira lowered her head, trembling. But then she straightened and shouted back, You will not take him. The leader's gaze shifted past her to Daniel, who clutched the child tightly in his arms. His eyes narrowed and a cruel smile spread across his face. So it is true, the leader said. The prophecy lives. He drew his blade, its edge glowing with deadly light. The other warriors raised theirs too. Daniel's grip on the baby tightened. Salira stepped forward, her voice breaking but strong. You will not touch them, she said. The leader raised his weapon high, his shadow filling the shelter, and in that moment, the baby opened its eyes, glowing not brown, not silver, but a dazzling light that made the warriors stagger back in shock. The child had awakened. The shelter blazed with light as the baby's eyes opened, not brown, not silver, but a radiant glow that filled every crack in the broken walls. The warriors staggered back, shielding their faces. Even their leader flinched, his blade trembling in his grip. Daniel held the child tighter, his heart pounding. The glow felt alive, pulsing with warmth as if the child carried the fire of two suns inside its tiny body. Salira's voice rose, steady but fierce. You see it now. The prophecy is real. This child is the bond between two worlds. The leader snarled. His silver eyes burned with rage. No bond, only corruption. That child is a wound upon our people. He raised his blade again, shouting in the alien tongue. The warriors roared in answer, surging forward. "Run!" Salira shouted, grabbing Daniel's arm. Daniel clutched the baby close and dashed out the back of the shelter, following Salira through the cracks in the broken wall. The forest swallowed them again. Branches whipped against his face as they stumbled down a narrow path, the sound of pursuit thundering behind them. The warriors moved like shadows, fast and relentless. Their glowing armor lit the trees, a net of silver light tightening around them. Daniel's lungs burned, but he didn't dare slow. "We can't outrun them," he gasped. Salira's eyes flashed in the dark. "We don't need to outrun them. We only need to choose." "Choose?" Daniel's voice broke with desperation. "Choose what?" She pulled him into a hollow beneath a giant tree. They crouched in the roots, the baby between them, its glow dimming as if it knew to stay quiet. The warriors' torches passed close, voices chanting, weapons slicing through leaves. Daniel whispered, "We should fight." Salira looked at him, shocked. "Fight against warriors of my blood? You cannot win." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Then tell me the choice now." Her silver eyes softened, but her voice trembled. "The prophecy says the child will bring peace only if raised by both worlds. But if taken by one side alone, it will grow into fire. We must decide, hide him with humans or flee with him to my people's mountains." Daniel stared at her, stunned. "Neither side wants him alive." Salira shook her head. "Humans may protect him if they believe he is theirs. My people may worship him if they believe he is destiny, but we cannot keep him hidden forever. We must decide which risk we take." The baby stirred, making a soft cooing sound. Daniel looked down, his chest aching. How could he choose where this child belonged, when the world itself seemed ready to tear him apart? A shout split the air. Warriors had spotted them. Torches swarmed closer. The ground shook with their steps. "No more time," Salira whispered, her hand gripping his tightly. "Daniel, choose now." Daniel's mind raced. To give the child to humans would mean lying, hiding, pretending the baby was nothing more than a strange orphan. To take the child to aliens meant throwing himself into their world, a place that hated him, but maybe, just maybe, would see the child as a savior. But if he chose wrong, the child's life would be lost. The warriors closed in, blades drawn. Daniel's heart pounded so loud it drowned the drums. He looked at Salira, then at the baby, then at the circle of torches growing brighter around them. "I will not hand him to either side," Daniel said suddenly, his voice steady. "If they want him, they'll have to take him from me." Salira's eyes widened. Fear and pride flickered together in her gaze. "You would face them alone." Daniel shifted the baby into one arm and picked up a fallen branch with the other. It wasn't much, just wood, but he held it like a weapon. His face hardened. "No, not alone. With you." The warriors burst into the clearing. The leader pointed his blade, shouting a command. "Now," Salira cried. She pressed her glowing palm to the earth. The ground shook, roots twisting upward like living snakes, blocking the first wave of attackers. Daniel swung the branch, striking one warrior aside, the force of his desperation adding strength. The baby's glow flared again, brighter than before, blinding the warriors. A cry rose from its small mouth, not of fear, but of power. The sound echoed like thunder through the forest. The warriors froze, staring in awe and terror. The leader's blade dropped slightly. Salira clutched Daniel's hand, whispering, "Do you see? Even now he chooses for us." But Daniel knew this was only the beginning. The child's power had awakened, and now both worlds would stop at nothing to claim him. The forest was silent after the cry. The baby's voice still echoed in the air like thunder, though it had been no louder than a child's wail. The warriors stood frozen, their torches flickering. Even the drums in the distance had fallen quiet. Daniel held the child close, his heart pounding, unsure if he should feel fear or wonder. The glow from the baby's eyes had not faded. Instead, it spread outward in waves of light, rolling through the trees, touching the leaves with silver fire. The alien leader stepped forward slowly. His armor reflected the glow, his face twisted in awe and fury. He pointed his blade at the baby, though his hands trembled. "It is true," he growled. "The child carries the mark of prophecy. The earth itself responds to him." Salira stood tall, her silver eyes blazing. "Then you know what it means. He is not a curse. He is the hope of both our worlds." The leader's expression hardened. "Hope or destruction?" His warriors shifted uneasily. Some lowered their blades as if afraid to strike. Others muttered, casting wary glances at Daniel and the glowing child. Daniel's voice broke the silence. He is just a baby. Look at him. He isn't a weapon. He isn't danger. He just wants to live. The leader turned his gaze on Daniel, and for a moment the human felt small beneath those burning eyes. You do not understand, human. Our elders told us long ago. If the prophecy child is born, it will split the galaxy in two. Unity or war, there is no middle path. Daniel's grip tightened around the child. Then maybe it's our choice which path he walks. The leader's jaw clenched. He raised his blade again as if to end the question forever. The warriors tensed, waiting for his command, but then the baby moved. It stretched its small hand toward the leader, glowing brighter. A soft hum filled the air, not frightening but calm, like a lullaby carried on the wind. The leader froze, his weapon trembling. His silver eyes widened as the light touched him. For a moment his face changed. The rage slipped away, replaced by something else, grief, sorrow, memory. He staggered back a step, lowering his blade. Salira gasped. What do you see? The leader's voice was hoarse. I see her. My sister, she was lost to the war long ago. But the light, it carries her spirit. The warriors murmured, their fear shifting into awe. Daniel's chest tightened. Could the baby's light reach into the hearts of others, showing them what they had lost? Was this the peace Salira spoke of? But the moment did not last. The leader shook his head violently, as if tearing free from a dream. His face twisted back into fury. No! He shouted. It is a trick. The prophecy child deceives us all. We cannot let him live. He raised his blade once more, this time with deadly certainty. Salira stepped in front of Daniel, her arms spread wide. If you want him, you must go through me. The leader's eyes burned. So be it, princess. You betray your blood for a human and his spawn. The warriors shifted again, torn between loyalty and fear. Some stepped back. Others raised their weapons. The forest was on the edge of chaos. The baby cried once more, the light flaring so bright that the trees themselves seemed to glow. Daniel shielded his eyes, and then from the distance another sound rose, a deep horn blast different from the war drums. The leader froze. Salira's eyes widened. That is the elder's call, she whispered. The council comes. Daniel frowned. Council? Salira's face grew pale. The highest of my people. They have felt the prophecy's awakening. Now they come to judge. The warriors dropped to one knee, bowing to the unseen force of the call. The leader lowered his blade, his face unreadable. Salira clutched Daniel's hand, whispering, This is worse than I feared. The council does not forgive. If they decide against us, not even the prophecy will save him. Daniel looked down at the glowing baby in his arms. The child's light flickered softly, innocent and unaware. His jaw tightened. Then from the trees, shadows began to emerge. Taller, cloaked figures, their presence heavy as stone. The air grew cold. The forest itself seemed to hold its breath. The council had arrived. The forest grew silent as the cloaked figures stepped out of the shadows. The alien council. Taller than the warriors, their faces hidden beneath silver hoods, they moved with slow, heavy grace. Like beings carved from stone, the warriors dropped to their knees in fear and respect. Even the leader lowered his blade, bowing deeply. Daniel held the baby tighter, his arms trembling. Salira stood close, her silver eyes sharp with both defiance and dread. One of the council spoke, the voice low and echoing like a storm rolling through mountains. The prophecy has awakened. We have felt the child's cry across the stars. Another voice joined, deeper still. A human holds him. A princess stands at his side. This union breaks every law of our people. Salira's chin lifted. The laws are old, too old. They speak only of fear, not of hope. This child proves there can be more than division. The leader of the warriors rose to his feet, his voice urgent. Great elders, do not be deceived. This child is danger itself. Already he bends the earth and breaks the hearts of men. If he grows, he will bring fire upon us all. Daniel's voice cracked as he stepped forward. He's just a baby. He's innocent. You see power, but I see life. I won't let you take him. The council turned their hidden gazes toward him. For a long moment no one spoke. Then the first elder's voice came again. Human, do you know what burden you carry? This child will not live in shadows. He will either unite or destroy, and the choice will not be his alone. It will be yours. Daniel's throat tightened. His mind screamed with fear. How could one man hold the fate of two worlds in his arms? Yet when he looked down at the baby's soft face, glowing gently in the night, he felt his fear harden into resolve. "I don't care about your laws or your fears," Daniel said, his voice steady now. "I'll protect him. I'll raise him. If the galaxy must change, let it change with him, not without him." The warriors gasped at his boldness. Even Celira's eyes widened with surprise. The second elder spoke, his tone like iron. "And you, Princess Celira? You betray your people for this human. Will you stand with him even if it means exile? Even if it means war?" Celira stepped forward, her body trembling but her voice clear. "Yes, I choose him. I choose the child. If that makes me traitor, then so be it. My blood belongs not to fear, but to the future." A heavy silence followed. The council stood unmoving, the forest itself holding its breath. Then the first elder raised a hand. The air shimmered with strange light. The baby's glow responded, brighter, pulsing in harmony. "The child is true," the elder said. "The prophecy is not broken. It is fulfilled. But beware, prophecy is a blade with two edges. Raise him with love and peace may come. Raise him with fear and the galaxy will burn." The leader of the warriors roared in protest. "You cannot allow this. He is a curse." But the elders' voices boomed together, silencing him. "Enough, the decision is made. The child will live. The bond of two worlds has begun." The warriors bowed their heads, though many looked uneasy. The leader's face twisted with rage, but he dared not defy the council. Celira let out a trembling breath, tears glimmering in her silver eyes. Daniel's grip tightened around her hand. For the first time, hope touched the edges of his fear. The council turned, their cloaks shimmering, and disappeared back into the forest shadows. The warriors followed in silence, leaving Daniel, Celira, and the baby alone beneath the stars. Daniel sank to his knees, exhausted. Celira knelt beside him, placing her glowing hand over the baby's tiny chest. The child stirred, smiling faintly, its light warm and calm. "We are bound now," Celira whispered. "You, me, and him. Two worlds in one family." Daniel looked at her, then at the baby. For the first time, he allowed himself to smile. "Then let's raise him. Not as human, not as alien, but as both." Above them, the stars seemed brighter, as if listening. But far away, in the deepest shadows of the galaxy, unseen eyes watched. A voice whispered in the dark. "If this child grows, the galaxy will not only change, it will kneel." The future had begun.